this is in between spaces. Hello, people. My name is Blessed Onoha, and this is In Between Spaces. If this is your first time, welcome. We're a community of young adults figuring out life, making mistakes, celebrating our wins, and basically forging ahead. We discuss innovations in our sector, creativity, and everything tech and mental wellness, livelihood. How to be in the right frame of mind as a young adult going through life and in the career space, right? If this is not your first time, you guys, welcome back. I missed you so much. Whew. So, how have you been? How is work going? And how has life been? How have I been? I've been okay. I've been good. Yeah, I know that's not deep enough. What has been going on in my life? I've been really stressed. But yeah, I'm keeping my head above the water. It's just a matter of time, you guys. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, I think a lot I'll be in a better place, stress and work wise in the next few weeks. Once I complete some of the um there are these new projects I'm working on, and I know that's they are taking up much of my time. So yeah. Why am I ranting to you people? God, why am I ranting to you people? Okay, let's catch up a bit before we get right into it. So, any highlight? What has been the highlight of your week? What's going on? Um, what has been the highlight of my week? Think. Or maybe last week and this week. Okay, yes, I know something. The highlight of my week, I made goat meat pepper soup, and it slapped like it was nice. I know you're going to say, why am I talking about this? It's not a big deal, but how many years have I been in Lagos? And I can tell you for free that it's hard to get right goat meat. Like you get this goat meat and they don't even like there's no goat meat aroma, like it's just there. To talk of how much you spend in getting it, because goat meat is so expensive, annoyingly expensive. But because we like it, we still buy it. You now buy it, it will not like there's no aroma, there is no taste, it's just there. But today there was a shift. The Lord said, my baby, I'm going to reward you. The goat meat tasted so nice. Like as I was even cooking it, it was everywhere. It was everything I wanted it to be. It was so good. So yeah, and I'm going to give Glovo the credit. Do you know for every other time I've bought goat meat in this Lagos? Okay, I know I've ordered from an app before, but not to Glovo. But most of the time I walk to the market myself and I buy this. Like in my head, I feel like I know good goat meat, but when I say come back, it does not. It's nothing. But this one, Glovo, this is a big thank you. It was small, of course, but yeah, I appreciate the taste, the aroma. Like it's really made my day. So yeah, you guys, how can it be that? Okay, so that's the highlight of my day. Then for my week, I think what made me really happy over the weekend was on Friday we had this PI review. Last week we had a series of PI review and then PI planning, and I got really nice feedback at work. Made me feel really nice. Made me feel like all of this is worth it. So yeah. What else has been happening? Yep, getting emails from my girls. That literally makes my day, makes my week. I love how I get to read informations, like tiny pieces of information of things. Okay, I get to read informations of tiny pieces of little things happening in their life. Let's just put it that way. Do you get? It makes me feel like someone from the moon is writing me a love letter. It makes a whole lot of sense. This morning I got one and it was so nice. She basically just got me up to speed with everything that is happening in her life and it felt so good. Wow, I've actually had a good week. How is your week going? How are you doing? What are some really nice things that have happened this week? Counting your wins. Okay, so today we'll be discussing case study writing for designers. So if you're a designer here today, you're at the right place. Let's discuss, right? Why do you need a case study? How do you go about it? And how is case study? How important is it in helping you land your next role? So if you're an entry level designer, at any level you're in your career, mid level, senior designer, are you trying to switch career? Are you trying to get a new job? Are you trying to get your first job? Anywhere you are in your career. I know some really principal designers and all of that, they might not need case study because of how far they've grown. Their CV and track record of their work gets to speak for them. But their levels you are in as a designer, most especially junior designers, mid-level designers, and early senior designers, you need to show, you need to be able to convey your design decisions. You need to be able to show process and how you arrived at a given design, at a given direction. You need to be able to convey that clearly. How are you able to put that together? So yeah, we'll be discussing all of that today. And yes, there is a gift at the end of. If you listen to the end, yes, there is a gift for you. So let's get right to it. Right. Some people think case study is just for recruiters or those that are looking for a job. But I will say no, case study is not just for that. Why it is important that we highlight case study in this why it's important that we look at case study in this sense is which is nice. It's also important to look at case study as a portfolio of all the good works you've been doing, right? A portfolio is where you get to look back. Okay, so let's say you've been you are 20 years in as a designer, right? And you want to randomly just check out, oh, what have I been doing for the past 20 years? How do you get to read? How do you get to measure your growth? How do you get to read, oh, 10 years ago I designed this, wow. 10 years ago this was how I was thinking, wow. 15 years ago this is how I thought, wow. You could see the progress, right? You could see how your design has evolved over the years. You could see such a smart person you've been that 10 years ago you were doing amazing work. 10 years ago you were able to convey your thoughts and your ideas effectively. 10 years ago you were able to create products that help businesses reach their value. Is there a documentation that shows that? Your case study is just a documentation, right? Is a step-by-step process. So while we are looking at it as, oh, this will help me land my next job, or this will help me advance in my career, this will also help keep you accountable to yourself. What have you been doing in the last how many years? What have you been doing since 2024 began? What did you do in 2023? Oh, I transitioned into tech in 2023. From 2023 to now, what have you been doing? Oh, I transitioned into tech in 2019 as a designer. Since 2019, what have you been doing? Is there a place I can get to and I get to see all your work? I get to see, oh, this is what she's been doing for so long. Oh, this is what he has been doing for so long. And as designers, some days might not just be so good. Some feedback, some meetings can be very draining. You need something you get to go back to. So okay, let me highlight, let me tell you something. I'm still in introduction. Let me tell you something. Yeah. um for me, there was this time I worked on this project, and Very dark place. It was it was very stressful. Took a lot of months. Took a lot of hard work. And the result wasn't the expected the expectation. There was a disagreement, right? And for the next 2 weeks, I walked around as a designer, tiptoeing around my project. Literally crying myself to sleep. Very dark place. It took my boss, I don't know if I've said this before in this on this podcast. It took my boss at work. Was like, Blessed, I need you to know this is not a reflection of your work. I need you to know that from the product sector, these clients were just not nice. Like, do you know how many months it took for them to approve the product document before it got to design? I need you to understand that this decision is best for everyone, the client or the business. And the truth is, and the truth is, I heard him clearly, and he's not my friend, so he had no right being nice to me. But a part of me just felt like, oh, what if I'm not capable of this? Oh, what if this is just my fault? Oh, what if there were a lot of what ifs? And when I say dark place, I mean like mentally, physically, like I was not opening the doors and the windows. I just lie inside and sleep, wake up, cry. It itself was hard. So one day my brother came, first thing he did was open the windows and doors. And then he said, I know you don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about any other thing. We spoke about all the things happening in his life. I had a good laugh actually. And then he said, I don't know a lot about your projects, but he called about 4 projects. He said, I know you worked on these projects. I see they are live and I see they are doing amazing. I think you should go back to those projects and look at the amazing work you did and remind yourself how you are capable, how and what you are capable of. I need you to understand that there are going to be losses. This is just the beginning. I'm sorry, I know that's not what you might want to hear, but there are going to be days like this. I want you to learn to understand that you are going to have wins and losses in life, and that you hold on to the days you win so that the days that are not so good, you get to not feel so down for long. You get to not allow yourself wallow at that place for long. What was he referring me back to? Projects that are live. What was he referring me back to? I should go back to those designs and go and check what I did. I should go back to the process and go and check the decisions I made and how this has led to turnover or has led to conversion and basically business growth. So this is not something you are not capable of. I mean, these projects that you've worked on, they are way, way bigger than this that has been stressing you. That is what case study does for you. Because going back to the Figma file, the Figma will show me all the amazing design, but no, these are designs I worked on, so I've seen it 1,001 times. What did I do? I went back to the case studies. As I was reading through it, like, when you read through some of your case studies, you're like, wow, who wrote this? Such a smart girl. I don't know if you used to hype yourself, but I do hype myself. By the time you're done reading the first one, move to the second one, you're like, wow, no, I'm such a smart person. So your portfolio is not just for getting your next job or for recruiters to hire you. Your portfolio is for you, something you can go back to. So what case studies, what kind of stories did you tell with your case studies? So case study is not just a step-by-step explanation of your process. It should focus on your work, the decisions you made, what what decisions helped you arrive at the design? What data backed up these decisions? It's so your case study is an ability for you and anybody reading it to get into your thought process, to get into your head when you were creating this product. So for each product there are different processes you follow. Yes, there is a general design process that you get to follow, but for every project is peculiar. Even if the two projects that we are talking about, both of them are in health sector or they are in education or in the fintech space, they are peculiar. They are different businesses, they are different organizations, they are different individuals, they are owned. The thoughts and the decisions of these businesses are different. Their unique selling points are different, their expectations are different. Now, as a designer, with your case study, we want to get into your thoughts. What were you thinking when you created this? How were you feeling when you created this? Your feeling as a designer reflects in your designs and as well reflects in your case studies. So we just want to get to know you through your case studies. Ensure that your design is telling a story. Now, how do we get to read that story? Your case study, right? Um, So case study is not supposed to be all writing letter and you're not doing letter writing. You are telling us, walk us through your design process on this project. Okay. So there is the empathize, define, ideate, design, no, prototype and test, which is like the standard design process that we all follow. But as I mentioned earlier, every project is peculiar. You're either working on this project as a new project or you're working on a feature in it. I mean, you can write an extensive case study on just a feature. We all know how designs are. I'm sorry, I take that back, not we all, but yeah, we do understand how some designs can be very complex, whereas some do not have that much, is not that voluminous, right? So tell your story. On that feature you implemented, tell your story. On that model you worked on, tell your story. Now, what is supposed to be contained in your case study? So I've talked about how case study is important, how it's supposed to tell your story. So one thing that helped me, that is still helping me with writing case study right now, is a session I had with Samuel Akwe, like 2 years ago. It was my first session on ADP list. And then he read through my case studies. He was like, you have a very storytelling voice. I can read your voice through your case study. I want you to let that voice out. You are constraining it with empathize, define, ideate. Like I was so deep into using design terms. I was so deep into. So I carried out this, and this. He said, tell me that story. How did you actually do this design? I want to read through this and get to know how you process briefs. I want to read through this and know how you tackle problems. I want to read through this and read the honesty of, oh, I encountered problem at this point. Oh, there was a conflict between these two designs. Oh, there was a placing arrangement. Call that out. Tell me that story. We are not looking for perfect designers. We are not looking for perfect creatives. We are looking for people that understand that design is evolving enough, that and understand that feedbacks are very crucial in any design process. Of course, you design this, you think it's the perfect best, you conducted your usability testing. Oh, there were some feedback from users. Are you able to incorporate those feedbacks in your case study? There were some feedbacks by some users, and this is how the feedback affected our design. Are you that designer that is open to feedback? Or do you think your design is like the beginning and the end? It begins and ends with you. Of course not. You are designing, you are an advocate for both businesses and users. You are an advocate. An advocate listens to the people. You listen to the users, you listen to the business. And then you wear your innovator shoe. Then you become the innovator. Wear your shoe there. How do you match these people's feedback? How do you match these people's requests to give them something they like? Right? Are you able to tell me this story using your case study? Who was I talking to? Was it was yesterday, and yeah, I mentioned how I actually, oh, it was this morning. Yeah, I was on call with my friend and I'm like, I know it gets really stressful, but on most days I really love being a designer. I really love being the creative box that rolls out, that opens up ideas that serve these individuals. I really love being the source. Like you are like the candle. You are like this you are like the lantern that shines. So you bring out in your innovative space, you create, and then it gets to shine and the whole world gets to see it. You get? You are that person. It feels really nice to be that problem solver. Now let me read your case study and read you as and get to know you as that person. So if you are just starting out with case studies, I don't want you going the rigid, empathize, journey maps, user flow. No, tell me exactly what you did. Did you skip empathy map? You don't have to put it. Did you do surveys and you did not conduct interviews? Tell me exactly what you did. Was there a point that there were designs and then there were options and you didn't know how to pick? Was there at any point you had to merge? Oh, so because we don't want to pick option A or option B, we decided to take the pros of both option A and option B and put it into one design. Were there cases like that? Tell me about it. Tell the recruit about it. Write it down for yourself. Be honest in your case studies. I know there are a lot of templates out there. Okay, maybe not a lot of templates, but I know there are a lot of templates or visual reference that you can go to go and read other people's case study and you decide to refine yours to fit that. Yes, that is nice. But tell me your own story. Now, how do you get to do that? Introduce the problem. So I'll just quickly take you through 6 steps of writing a compelling case study. Introduce the problem. Step one, introduce the problem. What problem are you trying to solve? What are the business goals? So if it's not a business and this is an academic project that you're working on, what is this idea you're trying to discover? Or what is this new innovation you're trying to bring to the space, to this sector? What is this idea that you have and you think is amazing that you want to bring? What is this? So what is the problem revolving around this idea? So what is the problem that made you think, oh, this my idea would be a nice solution to this problem? Highlight that problem. You get? Make very clear the problem. Now under it, tell me this your idea, which is the solution to that problem. So you see the ranking. Tell me, so you identify during your design process, you've identified the solution you are creating. Why are you creating this solution? For every solution, it can either be a discovery that you're trying to make to improve livelihood or improve processes around this sector. What process are you trying to improve? What problem are you trying to solve? That should be the top side of your case study. Yes, make it very clear what this project is about. Not to don't come and write 3 paragraphs. No, 1 or 2 paragraphs, 1 or 2 short paragraphs is enough. Go straight to the point. What was the problem? What are you trying to solve? Right? Um, what was your role? Were you the primary designer? Were you the secondary designer? Introduce the team, your role and responsibility. So clearly, don't come and be writing, we did all across the page. After the top section where you write about the problem, the discovery, the idea that you are trying to work on, what was your role? You, Adam, that is writing this case study, what was your role? You, Eve, that is writing this case study, what was your role? So, let's example, I was the primary product designer working on this. If you were the primary product designer, was there a secondary product designer? If you were the secondary product designer, was there a primary product designer? Did you work in a team? What was your role? Was there a design manager? This is in this section of roles and responsibility is where you get to introduce these people, right? Introduce them, let it be known that you didn't work on this project alone. Now, from there, moving on, what was your responsibility? We want to get to know. So, from your responsibility down, I want to read this case study and read what you did. I want to read this case study and read contributions you made, not we. This we, let the emphasis on we ends mainly around roles and responsibility. After roles and responsibility, I want to start hearing this. So, what was your responsibility? You've highlighted I am the primary research user researcher, I'm the primary product designer, or I'm focused on usability testing. What was your responsibility? After you've highlighted it, from there down, I want to read about what you did. Remember, so companies write case study on their products. That is company case studies where they get to write about all the people that worked on this project, what all of these different people did. But this is your case study. I am reading about you. This recruiter is reading about you. Your future self is reading about your old self. You don't need to take credit of all the work if you didn't do it alone. That is why you get to introduce them at the role and responsibility part. Introduce the people you worked with. Yeah. But from there down, I want to read what you did. So you need to be able to describe clearly what you were able to do in this project. So if you don't have that figured out already, pick up your book and paper. I worked on this project with two of my friends. What was my role? What did I do? What did I do exactly? Right? Okay, so the next section will be key decisions and thought process. Right? Um, how did you go about understanding your problem? How did you go about understanding your users, or let's say your target users? Are there already existing users, or you had to use imaginary users, or speculate users, right? Now you speculated those users. Were there questions you had on what to work for these users? How did you get answers to these questions? Right. What were some initial assumptions you had when you first had this idea? Were there changes to this assumption after you carried out the proper research? So, after the research phase and all of that, what are the key features you decided to move on with, and why? What were the key pain points you found out from your research process? Now, what were the features you came up with that caters to these pain points? So you either address it as pain points from your research, solutions to pain points, or so you either highlight it as that, or you highlight it as features, proposed features. Now on beneath it, why? So beneath each feature, so feature one, sorry. So feature one, integrates virtual assistant. Now under it, I want to know, why do you think this is an important feature for this product? Why do you think this is an important feature for this web app? Why do you think this is an important feature for this mobile application? Let's get to know the why behind each pain point. Let's get to know the why behind each feature. So what are some decisions that are guiding your designs or that guided your designs, right? How did you get to choose the features? Did you conduct any form of research? What were the feedbacks from this research? So in this section too, it would be nice to, if you can show graphs and basically data, right? Don't just write it. If you can take screenshots, you can use FigJam too. So you can at the point of research, you can start collecting all your data on FigJam. Open a FigJam account for this your project so that every single thing you did or you are doing in this project, let it be documented on FigJam. So if you do a proper documentation, it doesn't have to be so neat. So let me tell you something that works for me. Open a FigJam account for every new project or any new feature. If this feature you get to work on is already existing and there's a FigJam account for it, you don't have to open a new one. You can just go and start your ideation in another site on the FigJam screen. But if this is a new project, open a FigJam file for it or pick your book and pen. Clearly write so project. From the point of ideation, from the point of figuring out things, from the point of, oh, this is what I think it should be, and then 2 days later this is what I think it shouldn't be. Within that back and forth with the product team, within that back and forth with the client, note everything down. So now I've decided, oh, I have some assumptions, I want to clarify it, I want to validate it before I get to design. Document that. Oh, I have some questions I need answers from. What kind of research will I be going through? Document that. I don't know. I write with my book and pen a lot. I also have my FigJam file. So like there is this saying I heard few years, no, not few years ago, sorry, few months ago. Anything that is not written down does not exist. Like if I did not write it down anywhere, it does not exist. So like write down, if book and pen works for you, fine. If your laptop, if writing on FigJam works, anyone fine. So for me, my book, my laptop, like making sure that no key critical information is lost, because not just for case study purpose but for design decisions. When you start making decisions, you need to understand, why am I making each and every one of these decisions? You need to be able to, you need to be able to have information on why each flow, on why each feature, on why each element is where it is in your design. You don't get into presentation room and you're like, okay, so I don't know, I think. You don't think. Of, you can think sometimes, but like you don't step into those meetings and you're like, so I think it should be. No, you are the design professional. I believe it should be here. This is why I think it should be here. This is why I think this is the best. This is why I believe this is the best place for it. What are the pros? What are the cons? You need to be able to know that, right? Okay, so yes, so for you to have a detailed session under these key decisions and thought process, there needs to be a documentation that has been ongoing. So let's say this project went on for 3 months, this project went on for how many months? Where is that noted down? The things that happened within the last 4 months on this project, where can I find anything, any information at all on this project? Right? So that is why this is important. Um so the next one will be challenges and how you solved them. So what are some challenges that you encountered while working on these projects, and how were you able to manage it? Right. So example can be, oh, there was I had two options of designs and I had to write out the pros and cons of each, but it was still not satisfying enough, or it was still not detailed enough in guiding my decision on which of the designs to pick. How did you now go about it? How did you now finalize on what you are working with? Right? So you need to be able to identify that clearly. So yeah, we've discussed how many steps now? Four steps. First one, the problem, the solution, right? So you can arrange this. Remember, we say you're telling your story. So you can start with title, the description of the title, how long this project is going to take, or how long the project took for you to complete, what was your role within the team, now what was the problem, what were the business goals, were there success metrics put in place, right? Now how was this problem solved? Which is where we are now, like where you get to talk about research, um, feedback, business expectation or business goals. What decisions backed up this your design? So I put this here. So there are some flows or some screens you have in your design, and most the explainable reason for having them is for business, to help businesses meet their goals. So example can be integrating a payment or integrating a mega checker flow. And then someone is like, what if we can explore that option? But in your head, you know, this is what will work best for this business. For this business, like this is expected, it's part of the expected goals they mapped out. So why my research or another finding can state otherwise? This is business, this will impact the business more, right? So your design should be based off certain decisions like this. So you conduct your user research. So there will be a section for your user research, a section for your research insight, which is where I talked about the pain points, the solution to the pain points, or the solutions and why you decide that this solution is the best or this features is the best for this product, right? Now you get to do some iteration, some sketches. You finalized on which of the features you are going with. So you now get to sketch out your ideas, go through, let your design go through several iterations, A/B testing, any form until you arrive at a design that is accepted by you if this is your product, or is accepted by the business or other stakeholders if you are working on this project with a team. So once you arrive at this and everybody's like, oh, nice, we love it, you cannot decide to go on to usability testing. Please conduct usability testing. Let there be data of the usability testing you conducted. So if you are working on this as a personal project, you don't have to I know you might not have researchers in your team or something because you are working on it alone, but let it be that you tested this app with a potential user or an expected user, anyone. Just get to test it and note down their experience with this prototype. You know, you have to prototype. So prototype this one that has been approved. Get to test it with them before you can now say, oh, this is the final design. Right. Let's believe, are we on the same page? I would have said please leave a comment if you're on the same page, but you will be listening to this later. So yeah, it's fine. So after you've written down, if you conducted usability testing, after you've written down any finding from your usability testing, now your final design solution. So in this final design solution sector, it would be nice to talk about if you can add um, the style guide that you are using, um, any reason for your design direction. So the designs I'll be showing below, we are going for simple and this, or we are going for bold and this. What is the reasoning behind that design direction, right? So not so long, very short, one paragraph of maybe how many lines, right? Basically, walk us through. So after that top section, now add screens. In these screens below, walk us through the app or the um, website that you designed. You can add notes to highlight each feature. So you can add this feature write a note, add a screen of this feature, then write a note by the side. This is what this feature does. This is why we believe this feature is important. This is da, 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 da. So just for each of the features or for each of the screen you attach, you write something by the side that calls attention to the screen. You don't just dump screens. How are we supposed to know what the screen is talking about? Right. So write attach a screen. Advisable is by the side or beneath anyone. But once you attach a screen, please give a brief description of what this screen is, why this screen was put in the application, and anything whatsoever. Now, after adding some of the really called out screens that you want to show, because I don't think you will be able to add all of them depending on how many screens that you worked on. You cannot add a quick prototype. So record your prototype. You know how you can prototype, make your regular prototype. So make your prototype, record. You can either record with this Chrome extension if you are recording web products. If you are recording desktop products, you can record with Chrome extension. But if it's a mobile application, you can just download the Figma app, and then screen record the prototype as you interact with it. That is really fast, really neat, and really easy to use. Right. Um Please make sure in this your writing, in this case study, make sure the visuals is clear, make sure it's very direct, and also make sure is visually appealing and conveys the vibe you want it to give. Do you want it to give homely? Do you want it to give I'm not in the mood, I'm all professional? Do you want it to give I'm a lively person? Whatever emotions you want to be evoked in your reader as we go through this, please try your best to infuse that. Remember, use of color, use of visual elements plays a key role in your case study. Treat your case study like a design project. Your case study is a design project. The only difference now is your target audience is different. For your case study, your target audience is the future you that will be coming back to read it. How proud do you want the future you to be? Your target audience is recruiters that are trying to hire you. You are writing this case study, they are reading it from your portfolio as a designer. Does your case study show your creativity as a designer? Does your case study show your attention to detail as a designer? Does your case study show alignment as a designer? Because you can't be saying you are a really great designer and your case study lacks alignment. Pay attention to these things. Right. Now, after the prototype session, this next steps, are there any next steps for this project? Sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry. Are there any next steps for this project or this design that you've worked on? Next one, did you experience any blocker? Write it down. Be very honest, right? Anything that led to delayed deliverable or anything whatsoever, write it down. Now, how were you able to manage that? Now, how were you able to solve that? We want to see your problem solving skill. Your problem solving skill as a designer, your problem solving skill with your colleagues, your problem solving skill in a team. How do you collaborate with others? Right? Were there any blockers? How was that managed? Honesty, remember. Now, the last session, for like your last session can be anything, right? But the last session from one of my case study is your key learnings. So just note down what were some things, were there lessons you gained from this project, how the challenges you encountered, how did this make you a better designer, or maybe I hope a better designer. Let's stick to a better designer. So yeah, I need you to know that all of these things I listed out, it doesn't have to be verbatim the way I listed it out. Some people have their case studies that start with empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test. Anyone. You see from this now that I mentioned, like you designed, prototyped, then conducted usability testing, then as a great designer, open to feedback enough. If there were feedback from the usability testing, you are open enough to taking them and implementing them back to the design. Remember, I said final design before I said next steps. So you don't go from design, prototype, and all of this and move down to development when you have not tested, when you have not reviewed with possible users. What this does for you is it helps you get an insight into how people are experiencing your product before it goes live. It helps reduce development costs. By development costs, I don't just mean work done by engineers, I mean it helps reduce future rework. If it can be managed before it goes live, better, right? And you as a designer should be able to convey this to your stakeholders. I know some stakeholders don't have time for it. They're like, no, 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 we don't have time. We need to go live. No. So this will save you time, save you money, and it will ensure you're putting your right foot forward. You need to be able to convey that as a designer. Why are we talking about conveying that when we are talking about case study? Sorry, you guys. So yeah, don't over explain everything. Let your design speak for themselves. You are a designer. Let that case study speak. Let anybody that stumbles on that case study be able to look at it and be like, wow, neat work, right? Use annotated screen diagrams or prototype to visually walk through your design decisions. Clearly let us, or even note, clearly let us know this is why I did this, which is why I said in the screen, when you're attaching the screen, if you attach the screen, please add notes by the side. Why did you think this screen is important? Why do you think this flow is important? Okay, so you can go through. I know there are case studies out there. I know there are templates out there. I know there are lessons and all of that there that you can use. So please make use of any all of these and start writing your case study. Start documenting your design process. Start documenting your work. Why is it important that you write your case study? This cannot be overemphasized. You worked on this product, you either worked on all of it or a model of it. Now, how do you show us that you worked on this? Right? Work on your case study because it helps us get to know your level of expertise as a designer. It also gets us on board on the why behind the design. So we see these beautiful products out there that everybody is using. And we ask ourselves, oh, why did they put this here? Let's get on your case study and be able to read that. Now, how can you start? Get a pen and paper. Remember, I said from the time you get the idea to work on this project, if it's your personal project, of or if it's not a personal project, from the time this task was assigned to you, let this book and pen or this Notion file that you're opening, or even this FigJam file, let it be your dumping word. Dump every single thing that happens in the course of this project. Right. We all know the design process, empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. With this knowledge at the back of your mind, as you work on this idea or this project, I want you to be noting down. So you're working with this knowledge of what the design process is. And I want you to be noting down every single thing that happened in the course of this project. Right? You may not go through the entire process. As I mentioned, every product or every business has their own unique feature or unique request. So you know how you work on this project. You might not go through the entire process, but note down what you did. Let there be evidence. Let there be evidence. Okay. So at the end of the design process, you can now choose to write your case study. Some people write their case study as they work on project, like they can be writing their case study during the weekend while they work on the project during the week. Anyone that works for you. But let there be a documentation of how and what you did. Okay, so there are some platforms that can help you with getting to know more about case study, why case study is important, not just why case study is important, like why you need case study even as an advanced and very senior designer. And then you get to read case study of other companies, of like very successful companies out there, how they were able to do it, the design team that worked on it, how their decisions were made and all of that. It will help you as a designer understand how other designers work. It will also help you as a designer understand the business the business of design. Yeah, to help you understand how business decisions are so important in your decision making as a designer. So some of these platforms, growth.design, right? So let me just list them out. Growth.design, I started reading their case studies like years ago. It was really nice. Like I think there are two guys, they use illustration, and then it is really nice. They make you click next, next, next. The first time I went through their projects, I was like, this is so so cool. And I always refer, even mentees that I have, I always refer them, go to growth.design. It is simple to read, it is simple to understand. The first time I read about Duolingo's onboarding, it was on growth.design. So yeah, you can check Case Study Club, you can check Behance. A lot of people write very nice case studies on Behance. You can check Dribble, you can check Medium, you can check us.cc. You can check awards like AWWW, then what? You can check US Mastery, you can check Pinterest. Yeah, I know most of us go on Pinterest for visuals, but they have really nice case study too. And then you can check Notion. Notion has really nice template that people have made like available. So you can check Notion as well. Exploring this platform will give you a broad perspective on how different designers approach their projects, on how companies make their decisions, as I mentioned before. Wow, you guys, we've come to the end of this podcast. And I know I mentioned there is a gift for everyone that had listened, or every one of our audience. There is a design that is a designer, there's a gift for you this week, right? So to help you get started on your own case study, and I've listed out things you should do, how you should do it. I've also designed a free case study template on Notion. You can download it, like you can duplicate it and then customize to fit each of your projects. I know some people that listen to this podcast, they have reached out to me personally on, oh, bless case study, oh, bless, help me review my portfolio. And I had reviewed your portfolio and I've mentioned something around how your case study needs to be to tell a story, or how you actually need to tell a story with your case studies, and don't, and not just dump designs on projects, because I don't think I've got that case study on projects. This can be your guide. Come and use this templates, right? Use this template and edit it to tell us the story around your own case study. That will work. It's very simple, it's flexible, you know how Notion is. And it will guide you through each step from outlining the problem to presenting your design decisions and outcome. So you can find this link, I'll attach it to this podcast. You can also find it on our bio on Instagram at IBS Podcast. So make sure to check it out and share it with anybody you know that it will be of help to. Please have in mind, a case study is not about capturing everything you did. It's about capturing your decisions and how they impacted the design, your process and the impact they made on the design, the success metrics that was set, were you able to meet it? The goal from the business or from yourself when you started this project, were you able to accomplish it? Tell us your story. Share your design progress, right? So when it comes to case study, less is more. Less write in place. It's not letter writing. I mentioned this at the very beginning. It is not letter writing. You are telling a story. You are a designer. Use visuals. Focus on clarity, decision making, and all will be well. Okay, so it was nice having this episode with all of us this evening. I hope you start writing your case study today, right? So you can, if you use the template, or if you write your own case study, you can send it in. You can send it to me on Instagram, or you can send it, or you can drop the link on any platform you are listening to, YouTube or Spotify, and I'll review it. I'll review it and give you feedback, right? Platforms you can use for your case study. You can use Notion. You can host it on any website actually. or you can even use Figma. You can use Figma for your case study actually. I wish us all the best. It was nice catching up this evening. All the best to you. Have an amazing time. Till next week. This is In Between Spaces. I hope you have the best week. Bye.